Star Wars Episode 1 The Phantom Menace. Everyone knows the movie. Some love it, most hate it. I for one think it's up there with the best Star Wars movies. There's a lot to love here. Vast landscapes, colorful alien creatures, droids, exciting sequences, and politics. I know a lot of you just groan right there. The Phantom Menace has always been criticized for its boring politics. I get it. The movie definitely halts in action when it hits Coruscant. However, the more you dig into the story, the commentary begins to show itself, and suddenly, it doesn't seem like fiction anymore. So let's get into the politics of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. The film starts off with Jedi Master Qui-Gon Jinn and his Padawan Obi-Wan Kenobi on their way to negotiate a peace treaty with the Trade Federation. We learn that the Trade Federation are blockading a planet named Naboo, who are a peaceful people with no army, in protest to the recent taxation on their trade routes. The Trade Federation is a galaxy-wide conglomerate for shipping and trading. Much like in the film, the 1990s American public were at odds with big business. The North American Free Trade Agreement, or NAFTA for short, was a trade deal made between the United States, Canada, and Mexico in 1994. The agreement's goal was to get rid of tariffs and other trade barriers between the three countries, allowing the free flow of goods and services across the border. Though it was criticized by many people for benefiting the big corporations, while the worker bore the brunt of its negative effects. Citizens feared that the outsourcing of labor to Mexico would lead to a decrease in jobs in the States, and the jobs that did remain would suffer wage decreases or suppression. Corporate America loved NAFTA. The Phantom Menace explores what would happen if that was taken away. Suddenly, the tariffs are back in effect, and now they have to pay taxes again, which we all know big business hates. The film speculates corporations would protest with violence, also portraying how they can be more powerful than certain nations. The film wants you to know they are definitely capable of doing this, which they are. In 1757, the British East India Company, a powerful trading corporation, used their small military in the Battle of Plassey to invade India and establish economic control of the spice, cotton, and silk trade. They expanded their control over large parts of India, appointing local rulers as figureheads. Eventually, the exploitation of resources and heavy taxation led to unrest within the Indian people and culminated into the Indian Rebellion of 1857, after which the British Empire took full control of the land. So yeah, not so far-fetched after all. We just have to hope the United States never taxes all of Tesla's trade routes. Elon Musk might use his army of Neuralink soldiers and AI Tesla bots to invade Iceland until we restore free trade. During the negotiations, we meet another character, Newt Gunray. Sounds awfully familiar, doesn't it? Newt Gunray, Newt Gingrich. While never outright confirmed by George Lucas, the similarities in the names can't be ignored. Newt Gingrich was the 50th Speaker of the United States House of Representatives from 1995 to 1999. His big claim to fame was kickstarting the Republican Revolution of 1994 through his contract with America, a document that promoted a market free from government regulation and taxes. The policies faced backlash for aiding corporations disproportionately. Newt Gunray wants the exact same thing that Newt Gingrich wanted, and they were both using their political power to get it. Through this comparison, the film is criticizing the American government, highlighting the dangers of a system where corporate interest and personal ambition take precedent over the public good. The film continues with the Jedi rescuing Queen Amidala of Naboo and transporting her off-world. Though while escaping the blockade, the ship was damaged and they were forced to land on the planet Tatooine, lying outside of the Republic's jurisdiction. Here the film touches on a new topic, wealth disparity. The Queen of Naboo is an affluent member of the Republic. They had no problem going to aid her immediately. Yet a place like Tatooine, a planet ran by gangsters with slavery, gambling, and people shooting each other in the streets, is left to fend for itself. There's a great contrast in the film between the sleek Nubian starship flown by the Queen of Naboo and the dirt huts the citizens of Tatooine live in. The real-life comparison here is obvious. In the 90s, the economy was booming for the rich, yet rural areas and inner-city neighborhoods were left behind. There was a job shortage, resulting in poverty and an increase in crime. Public services were underfunded, citizens struggled to get healthcare and education for themselves and their children. So far, we've been looking at the film commentary through the lens of American politics, but I feel as though this comparison of Naboo and Tatooine can also be applied more accurately on a global scale. Naboo, with a clearly European architecture, are to be helped by the Republic immediately, while the people in the desert are killing each other. In 1992, Bosnia and Herzegovina declared their independence during the breakup of Yugoslavia, sparking war between the three ethnic groups within the country: the Bosniaks, the Bosnian Serbs, and the Bosnian Croats. the most infamous attack being the Srebrenica massacre, where 8,000 Bosniak men were killed. NATO eventually launched an airstrike against the Bosnian Serbs in 1995, leading to peace negotiations. Now juxtapose that with the international response during the Rwandan genocide. The two ethnic groups in Rwanda, the Hutus and the Tutsi, erupted into violence when the Hutus began ethnically cleansing the Tutsi. Despite knowing what was going on, the international community ignored the issue. They wouldn't even call it a genocide. Limited humanitarian aid was provided, and most times it was too little too late. The United States and Europe were looked upon to intervene, but never did, as there was no strategic or economic significance to do so. If you want to learn more about the genocide, may I recommend a movie called Hotel Rwanda starring Don Cheadle. Even today in the 2020s, there is still a difference in the response to European conflict versus conflict in the Middle East and Africa. The whole world stood with Ukraine when they were invaded by Russia. Yet while Israel invades Palestine, there are people who think Palestinians deserve it. Anyway, after fixing their ship thanks to Anakin Skywalker's win at the pod race, the team finally makes their way back to the Republic's capital, Coruscant. Queen Amidala, with the help of Senator Palpatine, requests the Senate's assistance dealing with the Trade Federation's invasion. The Trade Federation deny any involvement. Here we're introduced to another character, Lot Dodd. Even more obvious than Newt Gunray, Lot Dodd is a play on the names Trent Lott, a Republican senator from Mississippi, and Chris Dodd, a Democratic senator from Connecticut. Lott was criticized for his close ties with the telecommunications industry, while Dodd was criticized for his close ties with Wall Street and the credit card industry. The combination of both of these figures into one character, Lot Dodd, is the film illustrating how both political parties, Democrats and Republicans, are puppets for the same organizations. Lot Dodd opposes the accusations of an invasion and demands it be confirmed by a commission. Other systems support this decision. Queen Amidala cannot have this, as it would take too long. Before Chancellor Valorum, the leader of the Republic, can make his own choice, his advisors whisper in his ear, and he goes along with the suggestion of a commission review. This is what is called a political gridlock, similar to what was going on during the Clinton era. President Bill Clinton represented the Democratic Party, while the House of Representatives and the Senate were controlled by the Republican Party. The two were constantly at odds and nothing was able to get passed. For example, Clinton wanted welfare and healthcare reform, but Republicans rejected the proposals, considering them to be too government-centered. This all came to a head when the Republicans presented a plan that balanced the budget through cutting funding to many public services. Clinton vetoed the plan, and the government was on shutdown for 25 days. In The Phantom Menace, Chancellor Valorum is a stand-in for Bill Clinton. This correlation is actually confirmed by George Lucas himself. The actor who plays Valorum, Terrence Stamp, stated in an interview with SF Gate that George Lucas said he's basically a nice guy, but he's beleaguered, a little bit like Bill Clinton. He then goes on to say, of course that was before Bill Clinton got really beleaguered, referring to Clinton's impeachment, which happened after the film finished shooting. It's funny because Valorum also gets impeached after Queen Amidala's vote of no confidence. Life really does imitate art. There is still something to learn here though. Despite her best efforts, the vote of no confidence focused the Senate's attention on their leadership instead of the Trade Federation's illegal invasion. Similarly, the impeachment of Bill Clinton captured the attention of Congress and the American public. People were no longer focused on the turbulent political climate at the time, more so in the media frenzy that surrounded the impeachment. That brings us to the end of the film. Queen Amidala returns to Naboo, and with the help of the Gungan army and the Jedi, drive the Trade Federation and the Sith out of her planet. Everybody celebrates and we get a big happy ending, at least for 10 years until we get to Attack of the Clones. With that being said, we've covered everything. I want to thank you all for making it to the end of the video. I'm a new channel, so be sure to leave a like on the video and share it with your friends. Hitting subscribe wouldn't hurt either. I'm working on a video for Attack of the Clones that'll be coming soon. Leave in the comments what other movies you'd like to see me cover. Again, thank you all for watching. Good night.